This is 365 Sports.
The Midway Panthers podcast with David Smoak and head coach Shane Anderson is brought to you by Bird Culchin Ford, Centex Bookkeeping, the U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, Baylor Scott & White Southwest Sports Medicine, Safe and Secure Storage, and TFNB, your bank for life.
It is week number 3 of the Texas high school football season. Our Midway podcast weekly with Panthers head coach Shane Anderson. Midway and Vandegrift, Friday 6:30 pregame, and the kickoff is just after 7. Crew Stadium, beautiful, beautiful place at University of Mary Hardin, Baylor, and Belton. Kickoff at 7. The game will be on the Sikkim 365 app and also on 106.7 FM, The Eagle. You're about to play maybe as good a team as there is in the state of Texas. I know last year with Duncanville, DeSoto, and North Shore and others, South Oak Cliff, but this is a program where Drew Sanders started it from scratch, and you can see what they've done along the way because you saw part of that last year.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's obviously they're ranked number 5 in the state right now, and they've got a special group, special program, special deal going down there. Drew's done a great job. And those guys, you can tell when you turn on the film that they played 16 games last year.
Yeah, they did, until they met DeSoto. DeSoto knocked out like half the district in 12-6A, including also Vandegrift for the state title. When you turn on the film with them, their quarterback, Deuce Adams, going to Louisville. He was at New Braunfels Canyon. He's now at Vandegrift. And also, who can't forget Miles Coleman, number 1, who's just as dynamic, doing everything as pretty much anybody. He's headed, I think, to North Texas. Those two guys are what makes this that kind of is the straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah, those two guys are very, very good football players. But I think it starts up front. You'll see Friday night. They're going to be as big as anybody we line up against, O-line and D-line, and they have a really, really good mix of kids, and put a deal together. And then, I think everything operates through that tight end. Number 88 is a really, really good player. And then, having a move-in quarterback, as for us, the same thing. Doesn't hurt. And, Deuce is a really good player, and, he's a coach's kid. And so, he's going to bring it to the table every Friday night.
I think Scotland is a tight end, 88. It just looks like a college tight end for them. So, you're 0-2. Both games you led into the fourth quarter at Mansfield. You lose 42-31, and then against Permian, and you lose that one 27-21. Is it a matter of not yet knowing how to finish? Obviously, give credits to those two teams. You've been outscored 21, I think, nothing in the fourth quarter. What do you attribute that to? Well,
I think you said it. I think it's just not knowing how to finish the game and winning. You can feel it on the sideline. We go up, and one of our coaches said it in the staff meeting on Sunday. It's you go up in the fourth quarter. We do a little deal, lean on me 4 going into the fourth quarter, just reminding the kids, hey, we got 12 minutes to play. Don't worry about what the scoreboard says. We got to win the fourth quarter, and we haven't been able to do that. And so, we call those guys up, and the first week we were up 31-28, and then last week I believe it was 21-19 or something like that. And you look up and you're not getting it done in the fourth quarter. And so we spent a lot of time this weekend discussing that, looking at different ways, whether it's the way we're practicing, whether it's something we're doing at practice, whether it's emphasis on something different. To give our kids that opportunity. And, but at the end of the day, I think it's just going to come with time. And, hopefully we can give ourselves a chance to be in the game in the fourth quarter this week.
One thing that I pulled out of this, and I know that this week that level barometer of who you're playing goes up, but you've been down a couple of both games, the first and second game, you've been down by 2 scores. And in the past, that would have been 43-17 or whatever it was. So you're looking for ways to look at things. Isn't that pretty good? 19-7 last week. You lead 21-19, et cetera. Week before with Mansfield.
Yeah, I think that's part of building it, and that's part of, of getting this thing turned is, being able to play for 4 quarters and being able to make it a game. Like you said, this time last year, those ball games were over in the second half. They were over in the third quarter. And, we're taking them into the fourth quarter, and now we got to find a way to finish it. But, what an opportunity this week to line up against a very, very good football team and see where we're at, where we stack up against those guys.
All right, so we've discussed Ty Brown. He's special with what he does. But you now have 4 receivers who have made plays in different ways. Conway, who had the huge first game, not that he didn't have a nice game against Permian. Jackson Baird last week, that beautiful catch and run on the, I guess, post, whatever it was. And then Scythe has caught touchdowns now twice. The throw that he caught over his shoulder into the pylon was just phenomenal in his catch and route. And then Richardson made a tough catch for a touchdown. He's made a couple of back shoulder, big body. That is your strength right now on offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, throwing and catching the football, and our offensive staff does a great job of making you defend, all 53 and a half yards across the field. And, and Ty does a great job getting the ball to different guys and taking what the defense gives him. And we're going to continue to do that and continue to, improve on that. And as good as we looked at times, that last drive, I mean, you get down inside the red zone, I really, really thought we were going to finish it. And, we kind of got a little bit conservative on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively down the stretch. And I think that kind of hurt us. But at the end of the day, we've got enough guys to make plays, and we've got to continue to get get the ball in those guys' hands, and then defensively find a way to get a few more stops.
You're not running the ball well, and you have a lot of youth at that position, and you're not stopping the run. Is that about as deadly a combination as you can have in football?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the name of the game as far as football goes. You got to be able to run the rock, and you got to be able to stop the run. And right now we're a work in progress there, but we're going to get there. Like I've told you, you're going to get 5 guys up front offensively and 4 guys up front defensively that are going to play extremely hard for 4 quarters. And, they're going to get better and better. And like I said, it's our job as coaches to try to keep them fresh, try to make sure they understand what we're trying to accomplish, and we're going to do a better job on both of those things.
Let me ask you this, and obviously this includes Brad, the athletic director. He was on with us at halftime last week, and I know him really well too. The schedule, the non-district schedule. Now, there was a time it didn't matter. I mean, you guys were as much running the ship as anybody, and what you were doing and knocking on the door for state championships when you were there, and even when Jeff was there with Tanner Mordecai and whatever. But is this non-district schedule, when you were in the district with Duncanville or DeSoto, I would have played like whoever. I mean, that's me. But I know that you have a standard. Is that something you discuss now, even though this week it's about what you're doing with Vandegrift? Is that something you and Brad have discussed, your non-district schedule going into the future?
Yeah,
Until this thing gets turned around.
Yeah, I mean, we discuss it, but at the end of the day, I mean, like I've told our kids, I mean, who are we going to play in the Waco area? We're the only 6A team.
Right.
And the other 6As that are close to us are in our district with Temple and Cove and Harker Heights. And so you've got to branch out to the Metroplex. You've got to branch out to the Austin area. Well, those teams there, if they're not any good, they can drive 5 minutes and find a football game.
Absolutely.
So you're going to get the best of the Metroplex. You're going to get the best of the Austin area, and it's 6A football. And I'm not a guy, I'm not going to go play 5A opponents or 4A opponents. I'm not going to play down. I want our kids to be pushed. I want our kids to be challenged. And when we get to district, I want to, have been, played good opponents. I mean, what good would it do if you go play, 3 or 4 easy opponents? And when I say easy opponents, teams that you should beat on paper, and you go beat them, and then you think you're good, and then you line up against a quality opponent in district, and then, you get shell-shocked. And so, I think it's important now when you're trying to flip something, try to build something, there's definitely a need for confidence and a need for a win. And so I think our kids understand that our 4 non-district opponents are as good as anybody in our district. And I believe that all 4 of them would compete for a district championship and in our district. And, we're not going to block anybody in our district that we didn't block in non-district or have to, stop. And so, we're going to see the best of the best. And when we get to district, just hopefully that our kids are still bought in and still locked in and understand that now is when it counts. And then we can stay healthy and give ourselves a chance to make a run. And
I saw, just looking down the road, you have to focus on Friday in Belton against Vandegrift. But I saw that Heath with Rodney Webb, who's been all around and had great success, they beat Trinity. They beat Euless Trinity last week. I was thinking, okay, let's see how they start. And I know Trinity is not quite who they've been before, but I thought that was an impressive win. The teams you're playing are all playing really good people, too.
Yeah, it's good football. It's like I said, it's the best of the best in the Metroplex and the Austin area, and we're going to get quality opponents each and every week, and our district's quality. and so we want to make sure that we're ready to go. And like I said, we want to see a little bit of everything. We want to see teams that throw the ball. We want to see teams that run the ball, teams that are balanced, teams that run odd fronts, even fronts. We want to be able to, see what we can do against all those things and give ourselves a chance to fix the things we need to fix. And, it's just, like you said, it's hard in society today to keep kids grounded and keep kids focused, with social media and with everything. It's all a perception. It's all about, what people are saying. And that's why for us, our word of the week this week is us. We're not worried about what David Smoak's saying. We're not worried about what anybody else is saying. Outside of our locker room, our coaching staff, and our players, we're concerned with us. Are we getting better? Are we a better football team today than we were yesterday? Are we a better football team this week than we were last week? And I think that's the main goal.
Are you better?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no question. I mean, we, like you say, we talked about those guys up front. I mean, we're close. We're real close on the offensive line to putting something together. And that's probably without, not being naive. I mean, that's without our best offensive lineman. And like I said last week, those kids are getting quality reps. They're practicing really well. Our coaching staff's doing a really good job of pushing them, but at the same time encouraging them and helping them understand, like, you're there for a reason. We got confidence in you. We believe in you. You're going to get better. But they have another task this week, and it's going to be a challenging task to block those guys up front.
Michael Collins, the offensive lineman, the only one with experience, is back. I know he could probably play if this was like a district game, but do you want to get him in one game if he's cleared? Would you like to get him in next week against Heath so he at least has a game under his belt before you start district play?
I think so. I mean, I think maybe not 4 quarters worth, but I think he needs to play a little bit. We'll play that by ear. We partner with Southwest Sports Medicine. They're one of the best around, and they're gonna do right by our kids. And we have great trainers in Chad McCune and Chin Win Lee, and they do a great job of getting our kids prepared and getting our kids back on the field as fast as possible. I'm gonna lean heavily on their advice, and then obviously communicating with Michael and his parents. And we'll make that decision next week. But right now, he's out, and it gives somebody an opportunity to step up.
All right, last thing, your voice is back. Friday night after the game, and I know what it must be like sometimes after I do a broadcast for 2 or 3 hours, there's kind of a little bit of that, like my voice, I don't know, it whatever it is, but your voice was all but gone in the post-game interview with Craig, and it seems like it's bounced back.
Yeah, I was a little bit under the weather last week, and I actually, I guess it was Friday morning, I went to the Body Hack and over there in Woodway and got one of those IVs and the concoctions with all the vitamins and everything. And I was trying anything. I didn't feel very good, but, I feel better. And like I said, it almost cost me a timeout because the referee couldn't hear me hollering for a timeout. Yeah. So I took off running down there.
Is that when you took it? Yeah. I was worried about you.
Yeah, no, don't worry about me. I'm still an athlete, but no, we don't look like it, but I can still do it once or twice. But
man, you were booking it.
We like I said, I was a little bit under the weather. I'm way better this week. And,
good.
This time of year,
there's no time to take that power nap.
No,
there's no time to the clock never stops.
You're on the grass, you're coaching, you're in video, you're talking, you're in meetings, you're doing
no bye week to look forward to.
And so we're just gonna grind through it. And like I said, we've got it's that time of year. We got some kids that are sick, we got coaches that are sick. I mean, it's just that. And we try to take care of them the best we can and get to Friday night and have fun.
Shane Anderson, thanks, Coach. Appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you.
Shane Anderson, Midway football coach. Every week we do a podcast right here on 365 Sports, and thanks, of course, to Midway ISD and the Access. Wanted to say what they do with the broadcast, and they take our audio and feed it on the broadcast they put up online. That's really, really top-notch, and we appreciate being a part of that. I'm David Smoak with Shane Anderson. This is the Midway Football Podcast on 365 Sports.
This is 365 Sports.
The Midway Panthers podcast with David Smoak and head coach Shane Anderson is brought to you by Bird Culchin Ford, Centex Bookkeeping, the U.S. Army Waco Recruiting Company, Baylor Scott & White Southwest Sports Medicine, Safe and Secure Storage, and TFNB, your bank for life.